All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the live well here at Fish North Georgia this Thursday night. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope you've had a great week. Hope you're enjoying a little bit of this rain that we need down here in the South. And hey, we got a fantastic show in store for you guys tonight. Got a great guest, Ricky Morris. He was the most recent winner on the NPFL out of Millwood Lake. They call it Millwood Lake, right, Ricky?
Yes, sir.
It ain't Lake Millwood.
Man, I don't know.
Me neither. I have no idea. But anyway, listen, I've been talking to him before the show. This is going to be a good one. So I hope you guys stay tuned. Let's take care of a couple of things real quick. A couple of announcements before we get into this conversation. Of course, hey, this weekend, fishing for Pawpaw, Lake Lanier on War Hill. You come fish against us, all right? It is for gentlemen. It's put on by the Fishers of Hope. It's for a gentleman who has some medical issues, all right? And if you want to come fish with us, the weather's supposed to move out. I know they say it's supposed to rain a little bit Saturday morning, but I think it's going to be very good. It's going to be cool. Got a little cool off coming. It's going to be some good fishing. Lanier's on fire right now. If you want to fish, if you want to pre-register, you got one more day, I assume. You can get in touch with Tony Watkins, 706-897-7557, or Ryan Sheffield, who's going to be the tournament director, 706-429-2010. And, of course, you can sign up the morning of. So, again, you guys come fish with us this weekend. And I've been telling you guys about this, make your plans. The Georgia Outdoor Festival and Expo, June 20th and 21st. That's Father's Day weekend, guys, okay? Hey, we need something for us dads right here. Cherokee Veterans Park off Highway 20, put on by the Cherokee County Park and Rec and Black Sheep Promotions. We're going to be there along with a lot of great vendors. It's going to be a good time. Live music, food, outdoor gear experiences, guest speakers, seminars. And the best part about it, guys, is it's free. And bring the family, bring the church group, bring whoever, and come out there and enjoy the day with us. So that is all of the business tonight. As you can see, Thursday night, Father Time is somewhere down in Florida chasing redfish or something like that. So I'm with some buddies of his, so I'm sure he's having a good time. And we all need to pray for Tim McGuire. He's not feeling good tonight. So Tim's under the weather. So let me see a couple of you guys over there. Eddie Hudson, how you doing, buddy? Coleman Jones, Jeff Brazil, Brian, the Fisherman Baker 4961. All right. Anyway, let me introduce you to Mr. Ricky Morris. First time on the live. Well, Ricky, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Now, your life's changed a little bit here in the last week or so, hasn't it?
Yes, sir. I mean, it's definitely been a mental stress wagon the last few days.
Oh, buddy, I bet. I absolutely bet. A lot of us around here, we love the NPFL. We've been following it since its inception and all that. And what's really cool is, you get a lot of first-time winners. Different guys will win the events and everything. And I'm not going to lie. I'm straight up. I watched Friday. I watched Saturday. Whichever, the first 2 days. And then championship, I was busy all day. And when I come home and I looked to see who was it, Ricky Morris. And I went, okay, I gotta meet this guy. So you had a hell of a comeback on day 3.
Yes, sir. I found out I did a podcast for NPFL with Ken Duke. And, he's the stats guy of the NPFL and everything. He actually told me that I made history coming back from 16th. He said the furthest comeback ever was from 6th.
Really? I did not know that. That's
Yes,
pretty daggum impressive. And hey, listen, you made a hell of a jump in Angler of the Year points too.
Oh, yeah. It looked bad on paper at Harris Chain, but I actually had the best day the third day. Even though I only weighed in 2 pounds something, my 6 cast of the day, I had a 6-pounder on that I lost right at the boat. Then 10 minutes later, I had an 8.5 in my hand on a prop bait, and I had to set my rod down, reach to grab it with my right hand, and it shook, and that prop bait went in my hand, and I yanked away, and I lost the fish and everything. I mean, then 4 o'clock that day, I ended up losing like a 4.5-pounder on a swim jig. I mean, it bit it right as I was pulling it out of the water, and as soon as I changed rod directions, I lost it. So, I mean, at minimum, I lost 20 pounds of fish on 3 fish there, and I mean, that would have moved me clear to 15th.
Yeah. Okay, listen, if that happens to me, man, I'm spinning out.
Oh, yeah. After that 8.5-pounder, I was done. I was mentally done for.
Well, you know what? I mean, now maybe you didn't feel that way at the time. Now you can look back on it and, it wasn't a finish that you wanted. Have a kind of you're looking back, a good laugh, I guess, at yourself or with yourself. But then you come back and you win this one. And so that moved you from 92nd all the way to 46, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken,
sir.
something like that. So that's a hell of a jump. So we're gonna talk about the tournament, but I want people to kind of get to know you out here, down here in the South. So if you go on the NPFL website, you can see all the anglers and everything, and they've got some interesting facts about you guys in your little bio. And I was reading that today, and the one that jumped out at me, first, and it always does, is you caught your first fish or first bass when you were 3 years old. Is that correct? Is that what it
Yes,
says?
sir.
Well, let me ask you this. Who got you started into fishing? So somebody had to, lay that foundation.
So my grandpa's the one that got me started. He actually used to have me fish in his fish aquarium whenever I was little. Now, 3 years old, I don't really remember that a whole lot. I remember bits and pieces. Like I remember his front porch on his house, but that's about all I remember.
Right.
My grandpa passed away, without me really having a whole lot of memories with him or anything like that. But my oldest brother, Kenny, is the one that like really kept my fishing going. I mean, every day, whenever I'd get home from school, everybody made fun of me because apparently I called him Bubba Tinny.
Bubba
So,
Titty.
Bubba Tinny, will you take me fishing? And every day he'd take me down to the pond and go fishing. So, he's really the one that had my fishing just go from where it went.
Yeah, no, I love it. And there's always somebody or one or two guys that get you started, and now you can look back on it and you can just basically say, hey, without them, I wouldn't be doing what I am, what I'm doing today and all that. So, but that's the first thing that I saw. And then of course it said you fished your first tournament when you were like 16.
Yes, sir.
So, by that time, apparently you've gotten pretty good. You just jump into tournaments. Do you remember what your first tournament was like?
My first tournament that I can remember was with a guy named Larry Bench. He's a local here, and it was down on Lake Bonham. And I don't remember a whole lot about it, but I remember him getting on an offshore creek channel with a gold rattle trap and catching some good fish that day.
Okay.
And I don't remember how we finished or anything like that, but I remember that gold rattle trap on a creek channel.
Yeah.
That's what really sticks out to me about that tournament.
See, here's what I hate that Tim is not here tonight, because when you start talking gold rattle trap and, Millwood's not too far from you, correct? How far
It's
is
about
that to
2 hours and 45 minutes.
Okay, all right. So, but that kind of water and the flipping and the pitching and all that, we don't do that here that much in Georgia, at least not on that level. I can't recall anybody ever on the show talking about throwing a gold rattle trap anywhere. So, you grew up fishing a totally different environment, and we're gonna dive into that too. So, your fishing hero, you put Greg Hackney, and I want
Yes,
to
sir.
know why. I want to know why.
And I just like the way he fishes. I mean, in my opinion, Greg's probably one of the best flippers that's out there. And I mean, that's my favorite style of fishing. I like the way he just puts his head down and goes to town. Andy Morgan runs a close second right there. And,
Yeah.
it was really cool when I got home. I actually got a text message from a number I didn't know, and it was Andy Morgan congratulating me, telling me
I
good
love it.
job. I like the way you fish. You keep your head down and everything. Like, man, just shake hands with Greg Hackney on stage and him tell me congratulations. Sitting back looking at these guys, I mean, these was my heroes growing up.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
now to sit right there beside them and be able to do this, and they're like your best friends while you're out there. I mean, it,
I,
it-
I get it. I totally get it. You realize you beat Hackney, right? I mean, I know you did because it's first, but he finished 10th.
yes,
And
sir.
so, have you just had time to sit back and think, just like you said, these are my heroes that I watched growing up, and I just beat Greg Hackney in a tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I I ain't really like that. That ain't me. I don't
Yeah.
sit back and think, oh, I just beat this person. I just beat this person. I mean, every time I go out, I'm trying to beat everybody out there.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm going to shake their hand and tell them congratulations, good job. I mean, somebody's got to win at the end of the day.
Hmm.
But I'm not the type of guy that's going to sit back and tell myself, oh, you just beat this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. That definitely
So,
didn't mean that in a negative way. I'm just kind of like, you're kind of in awe of who you're
oh,
competing
yeah,
against.
yeah.
And like, oh, good grief. If you look at the top 10, yeah, I'm first, but look at these names right behind me and
Yep.
everything.
I had a friend that sent me a deal after it was all said and done, and I guess on the third day there they went in a dual box on live, and it showed me on the right hand side and Hackney on the left hand side, and showed me in first and him in 13th. And like that picture right there, just me being on the same TV screen as him, like man, it's cool.
Oh yeah, and with the growth of the NPFL, there are a lot of very big names fishing it. And so when you go into these tournaments, do you ever kind of feel, and I don't want to use the word intimidated, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's this guy here and that guy there. Or is it just, have they taken you guys in? Everybody's really gelled really well?
Man, I had a lot of guys tell me, "Oh, you're going to be nervous at your first one and this and that." And really, the nerves never hit me. I mean, them guys make you so comfortable when you come in that they make you believe you can do it. And like whenever I joined NPFL, me and my wife sat down and talked, and I asked her, I said, "I want 3 years. Give me 3 years and let me see if I can prove to myself that I can do this." I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "I don't know that I'm good enough, but I hope I can do it." And a lot of people backed me to do this. I got 3 daughters. I mean, I couldn't have just went out there and done it if it wasn't for people helping me up and down the road. And to be able to get out there and do it in my second tournament,
Mm-hmm.
like, man, it just like it tugs at my heartstrings, man. Like,
Oh no, listen, you're coming in like a wrecking ball, and we'll get to the rest of the schedule as we go and all that. But yes, there's that picture of you holding up the trophy, and you got a beautiful family right there and everything. So you're definitely a family man and all that. Kind of got to make you feel proud to have your daughters and everybody on stage with you in this maybe one of the biggest moments of your life.
yes, sir. I mean, all my 6 and 8 year old can remember about the whole thing. They don't understand money or anything like that, but they've reminded me daily so far, "Daddy, we seen you cry." Like that's the first time they ever seen me
Mm,
cry, like, and like I said, they don't understand the money situation or anything like that. They don't understand how much that just helped and
yeah.
everything else. So, but at the end of the day, having my family there, I mean, that just you can't replace that. It's just that much sweeter.
Absolutely. My father-in-law, I saw him cry 2 times in the entire time I knew him before he passed away. One was with his when his mother-in-law passed away, and the other was the day Dale Earnhardt died. So
Hmm.
like that. But it's a memory for me. And like when your girls grow up, I promise you, they're gonna say, "Well, Daddy didn't cry much, but I remember him on that stage that day,
Hmm.
just a tearing up like a baby." And that story will grow. By the time they're 30, you're going to be bawling, needing all kind of Kleenex and all that. The story will keep growing and growing and growing. But that's still pretty cool that they got to experience that with you and all that. And it's a great picture.
Oh,
Right?
I love those pictures.
Yeah, you can't beat that. Um, I want to make sure I had a couple of things that I wanted to get with you too on that list before we get talking about the tournament and the fishing. So I got to question your taste a little bit though on your favorite movie, Happy Gilmore. I mean, Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore. Why Happy
Stop
Gilmore?
staring at me, Swan.
I get it. I get. No, listen. I love that movie too. But you don't. When you see it on somebody's bio, I went, okay, I get it because But it is a little strange because your very next one's your music, and it was John Anderson.
Yes,
And
sir.
and listen, I'm gonna tell you what. Like I love 80s country and all that. That was my prime and everything. I'm more of a rock and roll guy, but I love Hank and I love John. So I've been listening to John Anderson all day, kind of reminiscing all those good hits and everything. But that was back in my time, and I'm 20 something years older than you. Why John Anderson for you?
Man, I just like old country. John Anderson, Keith Whitley. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
those are my jams.
the good stuff,
Oh yeah.
the good stuff. So I love that. I love the answers and all that. Um, All right, let's jump in on the tournament itself. And guys, if you got any questions for him, I know. Listen, he talks very well, so you guys might be just doing a lot of listening tonight. But if you got any questions, definitely throw them in there. We will answer them as
Oh
best we
yeah.
can. When the chat's slow, that means they're all listening. And I like that. I like that. But you guys, hey, throw your questions out, especially when it comes to flipping, pitching, those kind of things. I would imagine you're a power angler. Would you consider
Yes, sir.
yourself a power angler? So if it's any kind of power fishing, throw it out there. His favorite lure is a Zoom trick worm, but you put the 4 inch.
Well, it's not technically a trick worm. That's one thing that I kind of keep to myself.
Yeah.
It's a trick worm of a sense, but not a lot of people know about it.
Now, see, before the show, I asked you what was off limits. You should have said, "Hey, we ain't gonna talk
Yeah,
about that
yeah.
trick. We're not gonna talk about that trick worm." But anyway, okay. So, according to that, you'd only been to Millwood one time prior to the tournament,
Yes, sir.
and explain to everybody why. It was supposed to have been at what was the other lake?
Right, Patman?
Right, Patman. That's right, and the water was too low or something like that.
Yes, sir.
So, but in your mind, you've been kind of right, Patman. This is what I need to do, and then all of a sudden you find out I said Millwood. So, how did that all of a sudden in your mind change your game plan going in?
I actually went down and pre-practiced Right Patman, me and Nick Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't been to Wright Patman in like 6 years. And my first day down there, I had like 29.73 on my best five. So, I was jacked up about going to Patman. And, then they ended up having to dredge out around the water line and stuff. And they sucked the water out of the lake and just didn't have enough time to fill it back before we got
Right.
there. And when we got announced Millwood, I mean, it was like we was instantly off limits.
Mm-hmm.
So, all we have is what's on the internet and everything else, Google Earth and all that. And like I said, I'd been there one time years ago. I mean, it's been so long that when I got there, it didn't even, I didn't even recognize it.
Right. But
But
do you think that kind of evened the playing field a little bit? Nobody had time to, practice?
yes, sir. I mean, Ryan Satterfield, he was a local there. I mean, he fishes a lot of tournaments on that lake. I think Hunter Bogman had fished, a handful of tournaments on that lake. There was a handful of guys that had been on it a few times. I think Hackney even said he'd been on it a few times, but it's
Right.
just been years.
Okay.
And I mean, when things, lakes take cycles. So, I mean, if they was on it 10 years ago, I mean, that place ain't gonna fish the same as it did 10 years ago.
Right. Right. That makes perfect
So,
sense.
I really think it really even play the playing field a lot because everybody was it was a new body of water for everybody.
Right. I told you these. Here comes the questions. Patricia Leanne Shaw, who loves the NPFL. What prop bait did he get stuck in his hand? I guess he's coming back from when you were talking about that last day on Harris Chain. Or was it? Oh, no. You got one stuck in your hand this tournament, didn't you?
No. It was on the Harris chain.
Harris Chain. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yes,
I got
sir.
confused in my head. I'm old, dude. I'm old. So what prop bait was it?
It was a devil's horse.
All right. Now, were you fishing brim beds with it?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. Without anytime, again, we're talking North Georgia again. Anytime we talk about the devil's horse, it's always during a brim spawn. That is the only time of the year we actually talk about that here at Fish North Georgia. So, what were you actually doing with it at that? What were you targeting?
I was over on Griffin, and I was actually fishing the mouths of some of the canals. There was a lot of fish moving into spawn.
Yeah.
And the hydrilla was so thick in there, and the water was super clear. I mean, you couldn't get anything through it. You had to throw a top water across it pretty much. So, I was working that across there right out in front of some reeds and everything else.
Okay. Well, we don't see it in the tournaments a lot, or at least if you guys are throwing it, they don't talk about it. That's an old bait.
Oh yeah. Nick had 24 pounds, I think, day 2 on a prop bait. So
we don't tell anybody we know Nick Brown around here on this show. I kid. We love Nick Brown, all that. Okay, so okay. That question kind of threw me off because I still try to wrap my head around why guys use certain baits. All right, so did you use it because you knew guys like Nick and them have been throwing it, or is this a bait you've been throwing your entire life and you just got the utmost confidence in it in certain situations?
no, so that bait, I was actually catching most of my fish on Harris chain on a chatterbait.
Okay.
And, Nick caught that big sack and everything. And, us anglers, we talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And, he gave me the hint on that and everything. And I got my hands on one. Greg Vinson, he ended up giving me one. Joey Bloom, my roommate, he gave me one. So I had 2 of them in the boat, same color, just in case I broke one off, and went out there. And that's what I started with.
Okay. I love it. Who do you room with?
Joey Bloom.
Joey Bloom? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Cranking and Yanking, our buddy from Louisiana, is in the house. He says, "Hey, good people and scopers." Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Ricky, this man out here, he don't like the scope. He is old school as they come. You ever fish Cato or whatever they call it?
Yes, sir, I have.
All right, that's his lake. That's where he loves it. Well, if you were going there tomorrow, what would you be throwing? And we're going to see if it passes. Spinner bait. Okay. Cranking and Yanking, he likes the wacky. which is
Okay.
that's a good
Oh
choice
yeah.
for you with that. Appreciate you cranking the yank and stopping by and everything. Okay, let's get to this tournament. So, do you think your guide experience, because I didn't tell everybody this too, he's a full-time guide when he is not, of course, fishing tournaments and everything. Do you think your experience with guiding kind of helped you figure out Millwood pretty quick?
Time on the water can't be replaced. Everybody says that. It's the truest statement out there.
Yeah.
I don't just guide for bass. I guide for striper. I guide for catfish. And, even guiding striper and catfish, I learn something about the water every day.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would say guiding helps me to an extent, but it also hurts me because a lot of times I don't get to go out and do the stuff that I want to do. I have to do the stuff that I can put my clients on fish.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes
So,
sense.
I feel like it hurts me to an extent, but I got to pay my bills. So,
No, no judgment here, man. I absolutely 100% get it. All right, let's go. Y'all had how many practice days did you have?
3.
Okay, so you're there, you're starting to practice. Haven't been on the lake but one time in your entire life. What was your first, kind of train of thought getting on the water?
So the first thing I noticed, first thing I did is I took off across the lake and I learned how to run the lake. It ain't the easiest lake in the world to run by any means. I mean, it's one of the most dangerous lakes I've ever been on.
Okay.
The boat lanes are marked pretty good, but you may be going across the boat lane and then all of a sudden they just disappear.
Mm,
And
mm.
you may have a 300-yard gap in it or something, and then it'll pick back up. And that 300-yard gap, you better be idling it.
Okay, I got
I mean, the first day of practice, I actually hit a stump with my motor and fell in head first. So,
you. Water was warm, right?
not too warm. I was more worried about them alligators. So,
Oh, okay. So you had to deal with that too. Yeah, I wouldn't stay in the water with gators or anything like that too.
oh
So
yeah, day 2, I caught a 7-footer on a frog.
a 7-foot gator in the middle of a tournament on a frog.
On practice day.
On practice day. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I was like, I didn't hear Duncan or Fat Cat talk about that. I imagine that somebody would have said something about that. But okay, so you learn the lake,
Mm-hmm.
basically the channels back and forth. All right, you said you're a power fisherman and all that. What was your first thought of what you were going to throw? Your plan of attack, whether you did it in the tournament or not, just first day of practice.
My first thought was shad spawn. Every
Mm-hmm.
lake around here, there's a shad spawn going on right now. And after I kind of learned to run the lake and everything, I put a trolling motor down on spots I thought a shad spawn would be going on, and I covered a lot of water. I actually had Hackney come in on me on one spot where I was at, and he went like 300 or 400 yards in front of me, and he started fishing. And my trolling motor was on 9, just covering water trying to find a shad spawn. And I got up there to him. He was like, "Man, I'm sorry. I thought I got far enough ahead of you." And I was like, "No, man, I'm just covering water looking for a shad spawn,
Right.
But the spot that I actually wanted off of on day 3, I never made a cast at it. I found on day 1 of practice. I found that shad spawn. I found a hard spot out there and never made a cast on it. So, talking to some people and everything, they told me that there was a shad spawn going on up the river. So, I got off the main lake, turned around, went back to the river, and sure enough, I found a shad spawn up there on some gator grass. So, my bites, I was getting more bites in the river than I was out on the lake. So I kind of concentrated more of my time to that river.
Okay.
Now, days 1 and 2, everything I got bit on was a buzzing toad, a frog, a swim jig, and a spinnerbait. That's all I was catching fish on. And I could not get bit flipping days 1 and 2 of practice. I mean, never had a bite. Well, day 3, I told Joey, I said, "Man, I'm going to put a flipping stick in my hand and I'm going to find a flipping bite because I got to have a backup plan."
Right.
So that's what I did day 3 of practice. I put a flipping stick in my hand and I ended up going and finding a flipping bite. So, that's one thing. I'll give Nick props on this. Like he's told me, you need to find a backup of a backup of a backup.
Yeah.
Because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. That's good advice.
Yes, sir. And, like I said, everything I was doing was finding backups. I felt confident in the shad spawns that I'd found. I'd found 3 different shad spawns. And I mean, that's what ended up winning the tournament for me with shad spawns.
What kind of shad do they have out there?
Both threadfin and gizzard.
Okay, so straight fit and gives it. Okay, there
Yes,
you go.
sir.
All right, you're practicing, you're getting all these bites and everything. What's your mindset on a lot of guys around here, especially because we throw a lot of shaky heads, a lot of finesse stuff, but they'll feel the bite, let them shake it off. They're not waylaying into them. Other guys said they don't care. They're going to hook every single one of them. They're fishing. What's your mindset on that in practice?
So normally on day 1 and 2, I'll pretty much set the hook on everything I get bit.
Mm-hmm.
And day 3, I kind of start getting picky on what I do. So, day 1 of that, like I said, I was catching everything pretty much on a moving bait. I ended up having like 17 and a quarter on my best 5 on day 1. And then day 2, I think I had like 13 and a half pounds. And day 3 of practice, I'd found a spot out on the main lake that I don't think anybody ever found. I caught a 4-pounder off of it on day 2. It's kind of an offshore spot. And I pulled up there and threw a jig on it. And my jig swam off 3 casts in a row. Never set the hook on it. And, I called Joey and was telling him, I was like, man, I think I might have found something special out here. He said, you didn't set the hook on one? It might have been a catfish. It might have been a drum. And, I'm like, no, there ain't no way. And finally, an hour and a half later, I'm sitting there and I'm like, he might be right. So I went back and I made 5 casts into it and I caught a 992. And I was like, okay, I'm going to load it on the trailer because all I'm going to do now is hurt myself more than I'm helping myself.
Yeah, ain't it crazy how that happens? And that's it. That's in the story from the tournament. They were talking about that, the NPFL write up on their website and everything. All right, you're gonna have to understand everything that you say. I'm going to compare to the South here. You said offshore. What is offshore? How deep are we talking about on Millwood Lake?
So it was only 4.5 foot deep.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was right in the middle of the lake. It's not a deep lake.
So it's not offshore, Lake Lanier, 60-foot timber, that kind of stuff.
No, sir. Okay. I mean, some of the boat lanes out there, I shut down in a boat lane and I was sitting in 2.5 foot of water.
Oh man. Well, listen, but that sets up great for a power guy.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I don't know how the finesse guys did, but that sets up great for a power guy. What's up, John G? Appreciate you joining us tonight. I'm surprised you ain't heading up to Ohio with a truckload of dogs. That's what he does and all that. So, all right. So you were getting bit on, what'd you say, a buzzing frog?
Buzzing toad.
Buzzing toad. Is that similar to a Zoom horny toad?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It was a buzz bait with a horny toad on it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yes.
So you got like that. All right. What color? I just out of curiosity.
It was just like a greenback, white belly.
Okay. All right. Around here, it's white. And then when you guys get out there in the largemouth world, I love it. It's so much different. Cranking Yankee wants to know any reason they decided on Millwood. You guys weren't far from Toledo and Caddo.
Well, we already had a deal. NPFL already had a deal with Texarkana, and Texarkana is one of our biggest crowds. I mean, every time they've ever been there, it's been one of the biggest crowds. And just instead of trying to go off somewhere else, they was trying to stick out their deal with Texarkana.
Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, that speaks highly of the NPFL to try to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Fuller and them, they're pretty good people.
Oh, yeah.
We like them and all that. I love his basket, those sweepstakes videos he's got now. He's got that little beard sitting in that basket. Just like, you're looking good in your old age.
He's got that beard game growing strong.
He's got a strong beard game. There's no doubt about it. I saw him at ICAST last year, and I was like, I don't think there's a hair out of place with his beard game. I don't know what product he uses, but whatever it is, it works just fine and all that. So, all right. So you think you got something special in that 4 foot deep offshore bite out there and everything. And so now, not before, and then you guys have an off day. That's
yes,
like there's their service day and all that.
Yes, sir. We went and did a meet and greet in Texarkana. Had a bunch of, kids and everything come out up at Spring Lake Park. Had a really good turnout on that, as a matter of fact.
I think that's one of the better things the NPFL does.
Oh yeah, we have stuff that we do just about every Wednesday. They find stuff for us to do. I mean, some guys went to a horse ranch and walked around kids doing therapy on horses and stuff. Some guys went to a food bank and helped pack boxes for a food bank. And then later that day, we ended up doing the meet and greet for everybody.
I think that's fantastic. That is a very positive thing that they do. And I mean, it seems like that's been like a mainstay at least for what I can remember. I remember Will Harkins and guys like that always talking about doing that, and I'm glad they're still doing that. Dustin Black, how you doing, buddy? Okay, so you do your service day or whatever they want to call it. Now it's the night before the tournament, and this is your first year, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're coming off Harris Chain. You think you got something like that. I want to know how much sleep you got before day one.
No, I slept all right.
You sleep, dude. I can't get any sleep in a $50 pot tournament on Lanier like that, much less fish. You guys are going after $100,000. I don't know how in the world you guys sleep. So
Yeah.
kudos to you. I mean, that Pawpaw tournament we're going to be fishing Saturday. I told my cousin I'm fishing with him. I'm like, the Braves are playing in Colorado. I'll be up all night anyway, so I won't get any sleep. All right, so you're feeling good though. You got a game plan. Day one, how'd it start?
So last day, go back to the last day of practice real quick. I actually told Joey when we come in, me and him was talking. He's like, "How you feeling?" And I told him, I said, "Man, I think I can top 10 this if I don't win it." I said, "If I can get my big bites," I said, "I feel that confident in this." Well, he's like, "Man, I hope I can get 5 bites," you know?
Right.
So, going into day one, started on shad spawn up the river. I get there, and I mean, first 15, 20 minutes, I already had 3 fish in the box. And I actually should have stayed on that longer because I stayed there, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes. And then I started going down a set of pencil reeds, and Jason Burrows come in behind me, and I watched him catch 3 of his keepers off of it, and he had 18 and a half. He was leading day one. So, I kind of made a mistake there, but
It happens.
I learned from it.
Yeah.
So, I was boat 105 on day one, so I was one of the last boats out. Well, then I had a spot up the river, up past the boat ramp, up by the bridge. I ran up there and caught my other 2 keepers on a buzzing toad.
Okay.
And, I caught some more throughout the day. I don't remember. I'm wanting to say I ended up putting 11 or 12 fish in catch track that day and calling up to that 13, 14 that I had.
Right. So you said shad spawn. I was marking off these questions to make sure I didn't ask you the same question twice. I'm like, I got a ton of notes written down here, and I didn't want to. I'm confusing myself talking. Shad spawn out in Oklahoma, out in Texas, everything compared to a shad spawn here or on a Lake Hartwell or some of these other lakes. You guys are coming to Alabama, right? That's your next.
Yes, sir.
Lake Logan Martin. You'll miss probably those shad spawns and all that, but I'm really curious how you guys attack a shad spawn. What's the best baits for a shad spawn out in Oklahoma?
Swim jig, spinner bait. A lot of guys want to throw a square bill and stuff, but you got to think when that shad spawn's going on, it's hot and heavy. You don't want to be throwing treble hooks, having to mess with treble hooks. Takes too long to get them off. I mean, really, in my opinion, a swim jig's about the best there is.
Okay, you do the Alabama shake and all that when you throw a swim jig. What's your technique?
So, I change it up.
Okay.
You got to see what the fish want. Sometimes they want that shake. Sometimes they just want a steady retrieve.
So what's your setup? Like what rod do you use on your swim jig and your line? Just kind of give us the setup so we can kind of see it in our mind. What you're using.
I was throwing that on a Big Bear 7.3 heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Throwing 50-pound Seaguar braid on an 8-to-1 loose tournament MP.
All right. So what knot? We always talk. We love knots here in Georgia, and again, most of the time because a lot of us are finesse. We're talking about braid to fluoro and all that. I had Ryan Sheffield on Tuesday night, and he throws a horny toad and he throws a braid, braid straight to it, but he can't remember the name of the knot, so we can't ever help anybody out. Do you know the exact kind of knot you use to tie your braid to that?
So I call it an upside down trilene knot.
Oh, hell, I ain't heard of that one. I was hoping, it's kind of a uni kind of thing. All right, what is the upside down trilene knot?
Wrap around my line 8 times and turn around, go through the line and back through the line and suck her down.
Suck her down. All right, hey, listen, it works. If it works, it works. When it comes to braid, though, I think what you called that, this guy's going to call it something else, and then this guy over here is going to call it something else. It's always very interesting to see that. But you mentioned bear. Is that you said a bear rod, BEAR?
Big Bear.
Big Bear. So is that a brand?
They're out of Georgia.
They're out of here.
Yep, they're custom rod out of Georgia.
Custom rod. Okay.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Okay? Sell me on it.
Man, so he puts recoil guides on a lot of them. You know, recoil guides, you can actually take them and bend them all the way over and they'll just flop right back up.
Yeah.
His custom handles, they got rubber handles on them that actually has, you know, when you look at them, you think it's a weird grip, but when you get it in your hand, everybody that puts one in their hand says, "Man, this is nice." They don't slip. They kind of got bumps on them around and everything else. He uses some high quality stuff.
Okay. I love it. How did you get involved with them?
Actually, through the guy I fished team tournaments with, he had a couple of them and he put them in my hands and introduced me to him, to Robert, and you know,
Okay. All right. I love it. I like it. Crankin' Yankin says threadfin shad and a chrome rattle trap look exactly the same. I like me some rattle trap fishing. Uh, how about you? You a trap
oh,
guy?
I like throwing a trap in grass. But you know, when that shad spawn's going on, like I said, you go back to it and them treble hooks will get you in trouble. I mean, time's key on a shad spawn.
Oh,
You're trying to hurry up and catch as many of them out as you can before it's done.
is it just like out here? Basically, your first hour and a half. If it's a sunny day, cloudy day, it might go a little bit further. But out there, how's it like?
Oh yeah, I mean sometimes I've seen it only last 20 minutes.
Ooh, that quick?
Oh yeah.
Really? Okay. So I was noticing watching that lake. Really, the only kind of structure that I saw, at least on the cameras, and it was pretty much just grass and grass mats. That's about it, right?
So the whole southeast side of that lake is nothing but rock. And I never heard anybody talk about that rock.
Well, nobody. At least it wasn't on the camera. I know. I mean, I followed Nick that one day he was on, and it was just grass,
Yep.
thick stuff here. You guys, I tell you what, I do find interesting. And again, I'm not a flipper or anything. When you guys are flipping, it really just to me, and maybe it's the camera, it just seems like you guys are right on top of those fish.
Oh yeah.
Like you're making very short casts. You can't do that for fish around here because maybe it's because the forward faces sonar or water's really clear. I mean, we're making casts 40, 50, 100 feet to whatever structure. And you guys, it just seemed like you guys are just right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that just fascinating. Now, are a lot of the lakes out in your area like that?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, you know, a lot of times I ain't flipping over 25-foot max.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So the end of day one, you had 13 pounds, 14 ounces.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you go back, you kind of assessing the tournament and everything. Did you, in your mind, feel like you had to make some changes for day two, or did you kind of just stick to that same pattern?
No, I stuck to the same pattern because, like I said, in practice, you know, I had 17 pounds the first day. I knew big bites was coming. That's what I threw everything in a basket. I mean, you know, that 13, 14 pound mark was just my average day.
Right.
And, you know, day one of practice, I had a 7 and I had a 5. Day two of practice, I didn't get a big bite. Day three of practice, I had that 992. So, you know, I knew a big bite was coming. I was just trying, or I say I know a big bite was coming. I was hoping a big bite was coming. You know, I
Right.
felt confident that a big bite would come.
Yeah.
So, you know, I stuck with my game plan. I was boat 10 out on day two,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew a little cut through to get through over to the river. And when I come out in the river on day two, I actually come out ahead of boat 1 because of that cut
Right.
through.
Okay.
And I got back up on that matted gator grass that they were spawning on and pulled up there and caught 4 just real fast again. And, you know, a few minutes later, here comes Jason Burrows. He caught 3 of his keepers day one off of it. He's leading the tournament, has a cameraman in the boat with him. And, you know, I'm sure he wasn't too happy that I was there, but he knows I was there the day before, you know. I mean, in my mind, you know, I wasn't doing it to try and knock him out of a win, but in my mind, I still had a chance at winning.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you're a
So,
competitor.
yes, sir.
Now, did you find that cut through on like day one of practice when you said you were riding around trying to figure the lake out? Is that when you found it?
Yes, sir. So in practice, day one of practice, they actually had a local tournament going on out there. And, you know, I was paying attention to what a lot of those guys was running and everything, and I seen a local run through it. So, you know,
Okay. Hey, listen, it's all details, man. You paid attention to some details, and that worked for you. All right. So at the end of day two, you had day two, it was 14 pounds, 4 ounces. So basically, almost kind of like a carbon copy
yes,
of your
sir.
day one. You were sitting in 16th place.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you're going into the final day, just you're close. You're in the cut line. You're in the check line. As to say. So tournament's going a lot better than your first one and all that. But in your mind, you're thinking, what? I got a shot if I can get that big bite and everything. So from day one, the night before to the night before the final day, are we getting some nerves worked up now a little bit, or is it confidence?
No, I'm still pretty confident. The only thing that had me concerned was like day two, about 2 o'clock, we had big winds come in.
Mm-hmm.
And my gator grass mat that was in the river, I was watching it move. And that kind of made me uneasy.
Yeah.
So, to the third morning when I woke up, something like it instantly just popped into my head of that gator grass ain't going to be in the same spot.
Right.
Like the only other shad spawn I found was on the rock out on the main lake.
Mm-hmm.
And, we had some big thunderstorms roll through, high winds, everything else. It was bad. And, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, if a shad spawn's going to happen, those rocks are going to hold heat. There's the hard spot there. There's grass. There's pencil reeds right next to it. That's my best bet for a shad spawn to happen. So, that morning I was actually talking to Jason Burrows and he asked me, are you going to start on that? And I said, no. And, I guess he started on it. I don't know. I'm sure, I'm not trying to sound mean by saying this, but he was disappointed when he showed up because I went up the river later on and that gator grass was 200 yards across the river on the opposite bank.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
listen, you could say, it's competition. It's okay to say,
yeah.
I'm glad I didn't go there and he did.
But, like I said, from the time I woke up, it was like I couldn't make a wrong decision.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, starting on that rock, I pulled up there and in the first 20 minutes that morning, I had, I think I had 17 something in catch track and I was just eyeballing them, throwing them in. And after I actually sat down and weighed them about an hour later, I actually had 1854.
Right.
So,
hey, listen, I love it. But yeah, in that article, it talks about you saying, look, just like everything you did, every change you made worked. But now you went on the final days when you started flipping, right?
yes, sir. So I told myself after I had that 18 pounds, I was like, man, the only way I think I can go get a big bite is to go flip.
Yeah.
Flip or frog. I frogged some and they just wasn't having it on that final day. I've went back and watched live since then and everything, and a lot of them guys was saying the same thing. They were struggling on a frog on day
Mm-hmm.
3.
Mm-hmm.
Just the pressure change and everything else after that storm, they wasn't wanting it.
Yeah.
So, I got over there and I started flipping, and I've been throwing a dark color. I've been throwing a June bug, rage bug, and just something popped into my head. I'm like, man, everything you've done this week's been oriented around shad. And I reached down in my box and grabbed a white rage bug and dipped the tail in chartreuse and turned around and started flipping it. And it was like I started getting more bites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that. I saw a picture of you holding that up and everything like that.
Yes,
and
sir.
you kind of in that article, you kind of said, I made the right choices, I made the right decisions. But I did find it interesting. And
Actually, I got it right there.
Yeah, that's it. Hold it up about there we go. Yeah, that's it. That is it right there. And it's crazy. So, like I said, we were talking about horny toads. It's white. Sometimes white, it makes no sense, but it just works. But I want to crank it and yank it. He's talking a lot tonight because we ain't talking about the scope, so I know he's happy. First of all, he says that looks like a big bowl with little cover other than grass. That lake he was talking about. Then, of course, he says he's got to throw this in. You scopers are being awful quiet tonight. That's because they're listening, because we don't know what the hell this guy's talking about. we're trying to figure it out and everything. George, let me get George's question for you to answer real quick, and then I'll go on to what I was going to say. What was the name of the swim jig, and what weight did you use?
So I was throwing an Anthem's bait, 1/2 ounce swim jig.
Mm-hmm.
It's right here. I had it paired with a Strike King Menace in white. That's the exact one I had it on 50-pound Seaguar braid.
I love it. I love it right there. And Cranky Yank comes back and goes, for those that do not know, Texarkana is border of 3 states, Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. There is one spot in the town where you can stand in all 3 states at once. So there is your useless fact of the night from here at Fish North Georgia, brought to you by my buddy down in Louisiana. But no, it's pretty cool that you can do that. I think you can do that in North Georgia somewhere too, like Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia like that. So that's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I actually went Sunday after the tournament was over, in front of the court, the post office and courthouse there in Texarkana. There, like the middle of it is the Texas Arkansas line, and it's a brick street and stuff. I actually pulled my truck and boat up and everything. And when we got there, there was actually a family over on the Texas side, like a block away, and they was like, "Oh, it's the family that just won," and come running over there, and they took our picture up there, with the trophy right on the state lines like that. Part of it in Texas, part of it in Arkansas. That was a pretty neat experience.
No, that is awesome. I love it like that. Again, those are kind of the things you'll remember, and that family will remember that too, and everything. You said you knew that you had a shot at winning when a camera boat showed up in the article. So, kind of tell us a little bit about that.
So, Brad had messaged me. I don't know. It's probably 9:30, 10 o'clock, somewhere in that area, and said, "I need you to share your location with me." I was like, "Okay." I mean, I knew I had a good sack in there. All of a sudden, I have a camera boat come to me, and another camera boat comes to me that ended up staying with me the rest of the day. And the Lyons brothers showed up, and they're taking pictures, and like, things started to hit home with me then, like, hey, I might have a chance to win this thing.
Yeah, I
And
mean, you get that heart flutter, kind of feeling in your stomach, excitement.
man, you know, after I called the two times that I called flipping, emotions was running through my head 1,000 miles an hour. I'd be sitting there for a second, and I'd be like, hey, I might win this thing. And then all of a sudden I'd start thinking about my kids, and I'd start tearing up. And I'd be like, "You sissy, what are you doing? You might just win this thing. Get to flipping." But the main thing I was trying not to do is spin out. I just kept telling myself, "Make a cast, make a cast, make a cast, make a
Mhm.
cast." And I had to keep reminding myself.
Yeah.
You know,
I think I love that you said you had to keep yourself from spinning out, because when we talk about spinning out most of the time, it's because our day is sucked. We're in a tournament, we just can't find a bite on that. You're trying not to spin out, kind of like excitement, a nervous excitement, and anticipation, and having to refocus, because now it's like, you know what? I might win this thing.
hmm
That's a
I
little
actually,
different.
I'd pulled up to a spot that I hadn't fished in practice. I've never fished in my life. And it was a little round clump of pencil reeds, and I'm sitting there fishing, and Hunter Bogman's over there by him. I'm talking to Hunter, said, "You got them?" And I think he said he had one at that time.
Uh-huh.
He said, "What do you have?" And I told him, I said, "Man, I think I got about 19 pounds right now." And he's like, "Oh, congratulations. One of the greatest guys you'll ever meet." I
Yeah.
mean, he's an inspiration to fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I stick one and get it in the boat. Man, I'm jacked up. I'm hooting and hollering and everything. He said, "You catch one?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Is it going to help?" I said, "Yeah." And that fish helped me by 0.34 pounds. So, no sooner I'm sitting there making my call and everything, and I turn around and I hear a hook set, and I turn around and look, and it's Hunter setting the hook on a fish behind me. And he got his second keeper. So, it's pretty neat to share that experience with him right there.
Yeah,
But
those are the things people don't talk about. That little situation and all that, when we kind of talk about tournaments and everything, just the little good nuggets inside the tournament itself. That's pretty cool.
You know, at one point in time while I'm sitting over there, I mean, Hank Sherry's sitting there, and I'm talking to him. He asked me what I have, and I tell him, and oh man, congratulations. I mean, that's what I'm saying. All them guys out there on the water, I mean, they're like your friends. They're rooting you on too. I mean, everybody wants to see everybody do good.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And that's good. That is real good to hear that. All right. You've made your last cast. You're heading back, getting ready for the weigh in, get your boat out. They do that. Everybody weighs in. I didn't get to see the weigh in live. So how far back, or were you kind of up in the weigh in on day 3?
Oh, there was probably 25 or 30 boats left.
Okay. So you were towards the tail end and all that.
Yes, sir.
Who was in the hot seat when you came up?
Uh,
Do you remember?
I think Gerald Sofer was.
Okay, all right. Well, you come in, you weigh in, you got this big bag. I can hear Big Al going, "There's the boom," and all this stuff. Bigger than life personality. But then you got to take your seat for 20 something more boats and all that.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like in that seat? Because a lot of us will never ever be in that position, and so we're having to live it through you, man. So just give me the honest feedback. Like, what was it like?
every single time I seen a sack come out of a live well, you can't breathe.
Yeah, no, I know. Listen, I can 100% believe that. 100% believe. And I tell you why, I tell you why, because we had a Toys for Tots tournament 2 years ago here. And one of the first guys to weigh in was Charlie Adams, who actually won the tournament, but he was like the second or third boat to weigh in. And so he had to sit in that seat for the next 70 boats. And I remember just watching his face when a certain angler, from around here was really good and all that. And that was just at a Toys for Tots tournament. Dude, you're sitting there, got $100,000 on the line, and you're watching that next boat pull up. And you see them guys, and and Al does his thing and all that. I can't even imagine what you're going through.
No, man, like I said, there were some of them, you'll see them pull them out and you kind of take a deep breath.
Yeah.
You get your breath back. And I'll tell you, the one that really, really made me nervous is when Jared Littner stepped up there. I think, I don't remember. I'm wanting to say he needed 16 pounds or something, right around that 16, 17 pounds. And when he pulled his sack out, like my heart dropped. He had a sack of fish.
You beat him by what, 1 pound? He finished second?
1 pound even.
All right, so you see that, you're like, whew. I mean, your blood pressure probably dropped. I mean, everything probably was good. How close to the end was he?
Oh, he was pretty close. He was in the top 10.
Yeah, so yeah, that's right. They're top 10 ways. Is that how they do it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you had Nick and all them, or all those guys come up and everything. All right. So the last guy weighs in. You know now that you have won it. Now, I know you talked about tearing up with your daughters and all that stuff, and I 100% would be crying like a baby too. But just all of a sudden, just tell me what that rush, that adrenaline, or that relief, whichever one it was, just tell us what it was like.
I guess it was more of a relief than a rush, I would say.
Right.
Just knowing everything happened. But like I said, the emotions was just, I'm not an emotional person, and I had so many emotions running through my head. You can't explain it. Like, I was just happy that my wife and kids was there to be able to share it with me. I mean, Nick stayed around, Joey stayed around, a lot of guys stayed around, congratulate me. I mean, took pictures with me. I'll be honest with everybody. It's more work after you win one than it is to win one.
Now, I've heard that from some guys like that. The fun just starts the second that they declare you the winner because of all the obligations and pictures and people congratulating you and all that kind of stuff. So what time did you finally get in bed that night? Just out of curiosity.
Me, Nick, and Joey, and their wives and everything, we all went out and ate at Texas Roadhouse. No, actually, we went to a place called Bubba's. We was going to go Texas Roadhouse, and the wait was real long. But, we went up there and ate and everything. And, I mean, I think we was back home by 8:30, 9 o'clock, but I probably didn't actually go to sleep till midnight.
Yeah, I can imagine. Were you exhausted the next morning?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I'm still exhausted, to be honest with you.
I mean, not even a week.
I'm so mentally exhausted right now, just with all the phone calls and everything else. Like, it's been a lot, man. I told my wife, one of my real good clients, he owns a hunting place up in Moberly, Missouri. He invited me to go up and go turkey hunting next week. So I got to leave tomorrow and go down by Austin to Lake Travis to fish a bass champs event with my partner. I'm gonna go fish it, and I'm gonna drive home Saturday night, and Sunday I'm gonna load up and go to Missouri, and I'm gonna spend a couple of days, leave my phone turned off, and I'm gonna go try and get me a turkey.
I love it. Yeah, and you said one of your favorite hobby or something like that is hunting.
Yes, sir.
So I love that too. So you deer hunt too as well, or are you a turkey guy?
Yeah, man, I like it all. I mean, I'm getting to the point now where I enjoy my kids hunting more than I do. I mean, my 6-year-old daughter shot a stud the year before last. She shot a 158-inch 12-point. Her first buck ever. So
you done runt that girl.
Yeah. That was the deer. That was the deer Mama was hunting. We hadn't seen him in a month, and he just so happened to walk out in front of her.
I love it. You mentioned your wife and all that, and at the beginning of the show, you said something like, "Just give me 3 years to see if I can compete." Okay, well, I mean, what was her thoughts when you won your second tournament?
Oh, she's ecstatic about it.
Yeah.
She stands behind me 100% on everything I do, And something I ain't thrown out there, actually, on our way home from that tournament, we got to Paris, Texas, a little over an hour from Texarkana, and stopped and make lunch at Chicken Express, and I'd forgot my medicine at the Airbnb, so she had to turn around and go back and get it. She went back and got it. I went ahead and brought the boat on home and everything. Well, she made it back about an hour from the house, and the engine blew in her car. So I had to go pick her up, and my two youngest ones, and call a tow truck to go get her car and everything. And what, $100,000, Mama got a new truck.
No, listen, that's the way the guy upstairs works, right? I mean, is that not how? That's not how. That's perfect like that. But it's also too. It's a very good reminder that you can go from the ultimate high to back to just daily life's grinds, like in a hurry, and you got to get ready for the next one and all that like that. So, I think it's good. Let me ask you though, was the kisses a little bit sweeter though after you had $100,000 and you got her a new truck?
Oh, the kisses are always sweet.
I love it.
I'm telling you, I got one of the best women out there. She hunts, she fishes, she stands behind me 100% on everything I do, man.
Well, there you go. You're blessed, dude. Absolutely
Very.
blessed. I love it. All right. So let's a couple of things I want to do while I got you. I want to look at the rest of the NPFL schedule because we're talking different lakes. And if you can't talk about, specific, are you off on any of them?
I believe we are off limits for Lay Lake.
Okay, Lay Lake. So we don't have to get specific, but just in general, these are two Alabama lakes. So you got Lay Lake and then you got Logan Martin. Totally different kind of fishing than what you guys just did. You mentioned kind of offshore is your weakness and everything. You're a power guy. How do you approach lakes like that are so different where I know you guys don't have scope, but still you get into a lot more of a finesse style game?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I like finesse fishing as well. It helps a lot. Joey has been to all these lakes. So, other than Lake George, nobody's been on Lake George.
Right.
But, Logan Martin and Lay Lake, he's been on both of them. So, I don't go out there blind. I mean, me and him share every ounce of information. If I don't win, I want to see him win. If he wins, vice versa. It's, we work as a team when we go out there. And that's, it ain't just me and him. I mean, Nick, a lot of guys. You have a team, you have a network out there that works together.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So you got Lay Lake in Alabama, Logan Martin in Alabama, then you got St. Lawrence, and then you got Lake George. So of those four that are left, which one are you looking forward to the most, and which one are you looking forward to the least?
Oh, I would say, I'm looking forward to both Alabama ones. I think I'll do decent there on both Alabama ones. The clear water up north is what's going to get me. I ain't, when I find clear water, most of the time I go try and find the dirtiest water in the lake. Getting up there, I ain't ever seen water that clear. They're telling me I can see 40 foot deep in those lakes, and I've never seen that before. So I feel like that's going to be a big hurdle for me to come over. But I'll just have to see when I get there.
And so you've never fished one of those?
No, sir.
I will tell you that I've never fished St. Lawrence or of course George, but I went to Michigan 2.5 years ago or something like that. Lake Michigan is like that. They got the zebra mussels in there or whatever. The clearest water that comes out of your faucet is that's dirty compared to some of that water up north. The zebra mussels have done something, but you're right. I remember our guide kind of backing us up, and I thought we were getting ready to hit this huge boulder. And he's like, dude, that thing's 25, 30 foot deep. But it looks like it's right there. That water is that clear and all that. So it is a different world if you've never been up there. But just kind of in your mind, how do you prepare for that? You're a dirty water guy.
Man, I'm just going to have to put my head down and fish. I'm sure, I'm glad we get 3 practice days. I'm going to, I may actually go up a little bit early and find a different body of water to go on just to kind of mentally prepare myself for it.
Yeah.
So,
you think you're going to have to break down and start throwing Ned rigs and stuff?
Oh, I'm sure.
Do you like throwing a Ned rig?
A Ned rig's probably one of my favorite baits when things get tough.
Okay, good. I'm finally glad we got somebody that will talk about it. I feel like a pariah sometimes saying I'll throw a Ned rig around here. Okay, tough fishing. Let's say we got some tough fish and you're breaking out the Ned. How do you work it? What's your setup?
Once again, kind of like the swim jig, I'm telling you, you got to change things up. Sometimes you got to hop it. Sometimes they want it on a steady retrieve, slow. You just got to change things up and let the fish tell you what they want.
So out there, when you have to throw it, are you using more natural colors, or out here we're in the world of either green pumpkin or it's some kind of crazy ass pink, purple, bright thing out here?
I'm normally a natural color guy.
Natural color guy.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
When you're cranking out the worms, I know we won't talk about the Zoom style trick worm and all that, but your other options like that. You more of a Texas rig guy or a shaky head guy?
Man, really both. I would say more of a Texas rig guy now, but if you had asked me that question 3 years ago, I'd have said a shaky head. So, I mean, really both of them, I have confidence in both.
Okay. We're in a shaky head dominant area. You've made the kind of switch or transition it over to Texas rig. What is causing that?
Just, I've sped up a lot.
Okay. You work it a lot faster.
Yep. Yep. Everything, like the last few years, there's a guy that I fish with here local named Kevin. And, one of the best spinnerbait fishermen I've ever seen. You see me?
I don't see you. I can still hear you though. Did somebody call you? Somebody call you?
No, I just went to 10%. So
Oh, you need to
let me
plug your
grab a
phone
charger
up?
real quick and I'll be right back.
Hey, listen, you only get this on live podcast, all right? Those guys that like to pre-record and take out all the uhs and things like this. Hey, this is legit real life like that. I'll read this comment from Cranky and Yankin. A lot of scopers up there just don't throw a minnow and you'll be fine. They haven't seen anything else in about 5 years. Cranky and Yankin, I think, and of course I watch your videos and all that, and listening to him talk and then watching that NPFL event and all that, it is almost like a totally different world for a North Georgia boy, seeing some of these lakes you guys fish. And Caddo, I think, looks like paradise. I hope that lake's in heaven the way it looks anyway. But it is really interesting to see the differences in these lakes. And when I was watching them flip and pitch the other day, I was like, I've only done that once in my life over on Gunnersville and all that, and I hated it. Now, we didn't spend a lot of time doing it, so I definitely wasn't comfortable with the technique, but still it does make it interesting. And I know how you feel about, the scope and everything. And I'll be honest with you, it was kind of cool to watch them work a section of grass and reeds and all that, the way that they worked them. And, watching your videos, the way you guys work different structure that we don't have here. And you probably write $100,000 almost paid for that new truck. Boy, ain't they expensive.
It says that I'm back on the show, but I can't see myself.
Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I'm actually going to take you off the show, and I want you to hit that link and start it all over like you were just coming back on.
Okay.
All right, let me take you off real quick. Again, the beauty of the live and everything. Also, too, guys, Tuesday, we're going to do our monthly member drawing for the prize of the month on Tuesday. That way Clint will be here when we do that. What do you guys think so far? I tell you what I do like about this conversation. Now, granted, we ain't talking as much technique as we normally do. There he is. All right, we got you back on. It's like everything else in this world. Just unplug it, turn it on. Kill the power. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Try it again, Danny. Come on. There we go. My bad.
There we go.
I told you before the show started that this computer stuff and all that is not my cup of tea. And I hit the wrong button.
Me neither. I didn't even realize the battery was going down until I seen it go away there. And we're plugged in and good to go now.
That's all right. I won't keep you too much longer, but I appreciate it. Yeah, but that's the way it is. And we've been doing this for 7 years. We've seen it all. Cars having wrecks up by where we used to be and knocking the power out and everything. It's just it happens. So we just roll with it, man. We just roll with it. Let me pull the chat back up because we were talking here. Let's see. I tell you what, I was telling Crankin and Yankin while you were plugging up that he's in Louisiana. You're out there in Oklahoma, and you guys were fishing that Texarkana area and everything. It's for a guy in North Georgia that's so used to clear Highland Reservoir fisheries and all that. It is so interesting to watch you guys fish the way you do. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't have that opportunity like that. And watching you guys dissect a 10 by 10 patch of grass and then going, the angles and how you flip. Because I know there's a method to the madness. You guys ain't just blind casting and all that. But it's so interesting for sure to watch. And he says, I don't flip. I do a lot of finesse fishing. I know you do. Okay, let me ask you this. What's your thoughts on the wacky worm, and do you throw it a lot?
Oh, you can catch a wacky rig anywhere in the country, or fish on a wacky rig anywhere in the country.
That's everybody knows me. That's what I
There's
do.
always a wacky rig tied on in my boat.
Yeah. Now, okay, because that's my favorite way to catch bass. Do you like to go weightless a lot, or are you one of those that like to put a little weight to it?
I put a little weight to it.
Okay. Now, let's just say you're going down a bank and you're wacky or your piece of structure and all that. How long do you give yours before you reel it in? Because if I'm going to the bank, and let's just say it's a point or something like that, I'll give it like, I don't know, 10 foot off the bank or something, and I'll reel it in and I'll pop it again. Almost kind of like you guys flipping and all that. But if you got some weight on it, you're keeping it down a lot more. I mean, you fish it
Yeah.
all the way back to the boat?
No, I don't fish it all the way back to the boat. It's, I'm more of a flipping style. I'm fishing
Mm-hmm.
certain structure with it, dock post or, lay downs or whatever. I'll flip it out there, let it go to the bottom. I'll hop it a couple times and I reel it in and go right back at it. Most of the time I feel like on a wacky rig, a lot of times they hit it on the drop. So,
Yeah, I agree with you. What's your wacky rig setup?
I throw it on a 7 foot Big Bear.
Okay.
Uh, Blues reel. I'd be lying if I told you exactly what reel it is.
Yeah, that's all right.
25 pound cigar braid, and it just depends on the watercolor and everything of what color or what size line I'm using as far as a leader line.
Okay.
I throw everything on Hayabusa hooks, or
Yep.
there's a sponsor of mine.
Yep.
So
Okay, for a second there, that's why you saw me shake my head like, all right, this is really different, because I thought you were getting to tell me you go braid all the way.
no,
And I was like, man, you're fishing some dirty water if you're going braid all the way. You could walk across that water if you're throwing a wacky worm on straight braid all the way. What boat do you drive?
Nitro Z20.
He's a Nitro. Okay, so there you go, Patricia Leanne Shaw. Okay, let's see. I was going to ask you something before we got the blackout of 2026 happen and all that. We were talking about those lakes up north and all that, but the goal with my show is, we like to introduce everybody and get to know you guys and make you kind of part of our family and all that. But we're always here to learn. All right, we're always here to learn. I want the guys to be able to take something away from this podcast that they can apply it. Whether they ever go outside, go out west a little bit from here or to Gunnersville with all that stuff. Or whether they're throwing a wacky and all that. Give me one or two tips for the average guy that can increase their wacky worm game. Maybe something that you do a little different or something you see a lot of guys doing wrong.
I see a lot of guys fish one too fast.
Mm-hmm.
I just said kind of fish it fast, but like I said, I also add weight. Really, your biggest thing with a wacky rig is structure. I mean, it ain't really just an open water bait, in my opinion.
Right.
You can take a Nico rig if you're scoping, that works. But if you ain't using scope, then if you ain't fishing a piece of structure, then you're wasting time, in my opinion.
Okay, no, that's fair. That's fair enough. What makes the best kind of structure?
It just depends on the lake. I mean, like I grew up here on Texoma, and it's a lot of rock.
Mm-hmm.
Some lakes is wood, some lakes is dock post. It's some lake you'll find a big rock out there. I mean, I fished places before that's piles of tullets that's in water that I found and caught bass out of them. I mean, you can see it on 360 that it's a pile of tullets.
Right there's a TikTok that one will be coming out right there for sure. You mentioned, right? Do you guys have spotted bass out there like we do here?
Yes, sir. We have spotted bass, but I mean, you catch a 3 pound spotted bass here out of Texoma, and it's a big one. I mean,
that's what I was getting ready to ask. What is a big spotted bass out in your neck of the woods like that?
we have smallmouth, we have largemouth on Texoma. I've caught my biggest smallmouth. I caught a 696 in a tournament. It's been probably 5 or 6 years ago. So that's the biggest smallmouth I've ever caught. The lake record, I think, is a 702 or 712. Thought I
Right.
had that record all day whenever I caught it on a Texas rig.
Okay, I like it. I think I wrote down your biggest bass ever is 14.2.
Yes, sir.
We always have this conversation. We don't always have it. We've had this conversation that it is a largemouth, of course.
Yes, sir.
What's a 14.2 largemouth like? Because a lot of guys out here are talking, if we get a big largemouth, it seems like they don't fight as nowhere near as hard as a 5 pound spot.
I've caught 15 double-digit fish in my life, and not one of them really fought. I've caught one this year, and I mean, that was probably the fightingest fish, but I caught it off of a bed. None of the others I ever caught off of a bed. You know, that 14, whenever I caught it, it just pretty much laid on its side and come to the boat.
You think as the largemouth gets so big, there comes a point in a largemouth's life that if it passes size X or whatever, it's almost just kind of like a fat guy on a couch. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I
They
hate
ain't
to
very
say it.
athletic once they get that big.
And I said fat guy, not fat gal. So you guys, I can't get in trouble with that. I said fat guy. Has Millwood ever seen a lizard? So, and I guess, how big is lizard fishing out there? You zoom lizards and stuff. Do you guys ever use that, especially on the Texas rig?
I use lizards at time. I never threw one down on Millwood. Some of the stuff that I read about Millwood, people was throwing lizards, but that just ain't my go-to right off the
Mhm.
bat.
I got you. What's up, Memphis? All right, now here you go, cranking and yanking. How many of those double digits were caught with scope? He has to ask.
3,
Out of how many did you say?
15.
Okay, so there you go. Listen, cranking and yanking, you got to like this dude. All right, he's got to be one you're going to pull for. Okay, how about this? Let me throw it out there. I know you fish the NPFL. We know their rules and all that. When it comes to the scope, do you like it? And you don't have to toe the company line. I mean, do you like tournaments without it, or does it matter to you whether it's one that has it or doesn't have it?
I'll sit here and say I feel like I'm pretty good with scope, but
Mm-hmm.
it's getting to the point now that I wouldn't want to go enter one of these Toyotas against some of these kids. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
all they've ever known, and you're pretty much donating money for 51st place or 60th place. I mean, it's getting tough. As a guide, I'll say it's a very useful tool for guiding.
Yeah.
To be able to tell your client, hey, cast right here or whatever. I mean, it's a very useful tool for guiding. But I'm old school. I mean, I'm still a tube guy. You know, I I throw a lot of tubes. I mean, I fish pretty old school.
Well, okay. So if you were the president or whatever, the man in charge of a major tournament thing, would you keep it like the NPFL and say, all right, we ain't using it, boys?
I think they need it one with that, one with, and one without.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, just them young guys that's all they know and everything else. Give them a chance to fish. The guys
Mhm.
like me that would rather fish without it, give us a chance to fish. So,
Yeah.
you know, I will say I do think it's hurt fishing some. It's pressured fish real hard. But
Mhm.
I also think that a lot of those fish are getting pressured, and we're starting to see a lot more shallow fish because they're getting pressured out offshore.
Thank you. I have proposed that what you just said on this show before. Now, of course, we're talking out here because
Yep.
everybody's out deep, and we're a lot deeper than you guys are, for the most part, than out there. But I've always had this little hypothesis in my mind that if all the pressure, those fish are just getting pounded out there in 30, 40, 50 feet of water, that has to have taken some of the pressure off of these fish in, 0 to 15 foot.
Yes, most
You know,
definitely.
that's kind of what I've thought, but I'm glad to hear somebody else just kind of, whether it's true or not, we don't know. But I think the exact same thing. So I'm glad you said that. That made my day. But then you said tubes. Like we don't talk tubes here. If you asked half of the guys here in North Georgia to throw a tube, we couldn't tell you how to rig the damn thing up. We really couldn't. And so, what is it about a tube that you like? I know it's an old school bait.
I just Texas rig a tube. Um, it's something that they don't see a whole lot of anymore.
Yeah.
You know, tubes have caught fish for years. It's revolution. New baits come along, they ain't ever seen. They're catching fish off of them, and
Yeah.
then it gives a break from them old baits. So the chatterbait come out, and the spinner bait pretty went obsolete.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you see a lot of us guys out there throwing spinner baits. I mean, a spinner bait is a big confidence bait of mine. Oh,
Okay.
I'll show you right here. That's the spinner bait that I was throwing down there on a War Eagle spinner bait. Now you will notice there's a trailer hook off the back of that because I had a lot of them come up and start slapping at it. So
Yeah.
I'd actually put on a trailer hook, and it helped a little bit. And then I actually went to a swim jig. I just felt like it was too much flash and everything else, and they started eating the swim jig better.
Okay, yeah, I
So,
remember you saying that about. First of all, you're correct with the chatterbait came out, and then all of a sudden it was a sexy thing, and you
mhm.
really didn't even want to admit, unless you were an old timer like cranking and yanking, that you even threw a spinnerbait anymore. Everybody had to be throwing a chatterbait. But I've been seeing here recently a lot of guys when we get them on, we're interviewing them, they're talking about throwing a spinnerbait a lot more than they used to.
Oh yeah.
So it's making, and everything in fishing is cyclical.
Yep.
You're exactly right. It comes out, when it comes to the tube, are you still doing it kind of like you're wacky? You pitching it at structure, or are you? I
Mhm.
mean, teach me something. I don't know
Yeah.
anything about tubes.
Yeah. I still, I bed fish with a tube a lot.
Hmm.
So, like I said, doing that, I mean, I like flipping dock posts with them. Same thing, structure. I pretty much always fish structure, some type of structure.
So Lockett Lures crawl tube is good stuff. I guess that is we have never heard of them right here. When we had the shop, I remember Colin Steele. I'm friends with him now, but I remember the first time he came in. He's from up north, and he's looking at what we had on the wall and everything. And he looked at me and goes, "Where's your tubes?" And I'm like, I was just like, "Why?" He goes, "Dude, tubes catch everything." And I'm like, nobody around here, or at least they don't admit to it. They don't talk about it. Nobody's talking about tubes. But it seems like, again, like spinnerbait, more and more guys are talking about tubes.
Yep.
What's a good tube? What brand of tube do you like to throw?
I think the ones I'm throwing are, I want to say they're Big Bite or something like that. They actually come out of Arkansas. I order them in packs of like 500.
So you like it, is what you're saying. It.
Oh yeah.
You like the tube and all that.
Yep.
What's up, Mike Geiger?
Yep.
I'm glad you could join us tonight and all that.
One
All right.
one other bait while I was down there that played a big key. I caught a couple of fish day 1 and 2. I
Yep.
was throwing a toad thumper frog, just a popping frog.
Now, is that
So
you go straight braid to that one?
yes, sir. These
Yeah.
these toad thumper frogs, they ain't been out just a real long time. Cody Canada, the lead singer of Whiskey Myers, come out with the company.
Mm,
They got swim jigs, they got frogs, but I'll say they're frogs, man. You don't lose a fish. You pin a fish and it's coming to the boat. They're
really?
extremely soft. You hear people talking about bulling frogs or leaving them out in the sun to soften them. You grab
Hmm.
one of these frogs out of the package, and I mean, you can't ask for anything any softer.
And what's the name of that company again?
Toad thumper.
Toad Thumper. Okay,
Yes,
we'll
sir.
definitely be looking that up. So you don't have to make any adjustments. Like I know the boiling of the frog, heard that. A lot of guys around here will take the hooks and kind of spread them out a little bit. I guess that might be because of the body's a little hard and everything. You don't have to do anything with the Toad Thumper.
Straight out of the package. I may trim the tails on them slightly, but that's just a personal preference. But other than that, I don't touch a hook. I don't touch anything.
I like it. I like that. And cranking and yanking brings up a good thought. Nobody talked about grubs until a few months ago when Hank did that too. And then of course
Hmm.
then every company on Facebook had that grub.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and he kept saying like, guys, that ain't the right one. It ain't it. But that's
and
true.
that's
And yeah,
like I'm saying. I mean, that's the revolution of fishing. Grubs used to catch fish all the time. Though
yeah.
nobody looks at them anymore.
And then
Hank
they never
School being Hank Cherry being old school. I mean, what'd he
yeah.
do? He pulled out a grub and he turned around and whipped everybody with it.
And you know what? It never stopped catching fish. You know what I'm saying? Like they
Yep.
just something sexier came along. The prettier girl at the bar came along, and everybody starts going that way. But the grub really, I want. We got all these, Kitex, all these different style baits and all that. Like you probably catch every single fish on a grub still. Oh, white Zoom, Fat Albert, or something like that. But that's a true statement. Now, I did not know this, so I don't know. I'm just going to read you this comment. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. So it just came through. Captain Morgan, my buddy, says, I may have missed it, but how are Ricky and Gussie related? Are you related to Gussie?
No, I'm not.
Okay. I
Not
don't
that
know
I'm
what.
aware of.
I was like, so I saw that comment. And I'm like, I didn't see that in the bio or anything like that. So there you go. So Captain Morgan, he's not. He's not like that. Have you ever met him though?
No, I have not.
He's actually a super, super nice dude. He is one of the nicest guys that we've talked to and all that like that. So, but it goes. I think a lot of people, especially over the last couple of years of fishing, they hear about the drama and everything, and it's always those instances that, it's like that screams the loudest. But the majority of professional fishermen, in my experience that I've talked to, and you're right here in that camp, y'all just some laid back dudes that are just like what you said, just nice and everything.
You don't get me wrong. You got a handful of them out there. I mean, it's in everything. You got a handful of them that, but you can pick. You can normally pick them out pretty quick.
Let me ask you, no names. I don't want any names, but have you experienced that yet?
Not in NPFL. I haven't.
Okay, great, good. I don't want to hear about it. So I mean, that's good. That's good not to hear. But you are right, and generally, it always is the same guy. Or same, you know what I'm saying? Not saying necessarily that guy, but those type of guys that are always in the news. And the good guys, kind of, just because they don't do anything wrong, there's no drama. Sometimes they get left out. It's good to hear about good guys. He says you just look like him, so that's why he asked that. I was like, all right, I did. Again, Captain Morgan, I had no idea. I was like, oh man, I can't believe I missed that if he's related to Gussie. But he says compliments. Y'all are both hammers. So there you go.
It.
Yeah, I love it.
He must be saying I'm pretty sexy too.
Well, like I told you before, no Brokeback Mountain here, but hey, listen, you're a good looking dude. All right, so there you go. Maybe that's what
my wife tells me, but I don't know that I believe her. So
nah, dude, listen, you believe what that woman says like that. He goes, it's the gingers. Are you redheaded?
No, I'm not redheaded. Yeah. It's just a lie. I'm brown headed.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Like, God, guys are knowing all this stuff about you that I totally missed everything when I was doing my research on you today. Okay. I want a couple of things on the spinnerbait, and then I'll wrap it up because I like to learn stuff like this. I noticed, and it's been a debate here. Hold that spinnerbait back up. Is your trailer hook facing down?
No.
Okay,
hook's facing up.
Okay, I was looking at it. I was like, okay, there it is. I see it clearly now. I thought for a second it might have been the way you had it turned. I was like, he's got his trailer hook down, and I want to know why. So, okay, there went that question. So I don't have to worry about that now. Do you always use a trailer hook on your spinnerbaits?
Not always. I never use a trailer on a spinnerbait, but I will use a trailer hook at times.
Okay, I like that. Why not? A lot of guys use trailers around here. Just out of curiosity.
And I just, I throw strictly War Eagle spinnerbaits. They're light wire, get a lot of good vibration out of them. I feel like the hookup ratio a lot of times when you have a trailer bait on there hurts you. Yeah. I mean, if they're going to bite it, they're going to bite it. So I don't need that extra plastic on there to take a chance on losing a fish.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. What does Ricky use as a keeper for the trailer? But again, he doesn't use a trailer, so I don't know. Now, when you throw a chatterbait and all that, I'm sure,
Is he talking about the keeper on the trailer hook?
That might be it. Maybe that's what he's talking about.
So the keeper on the trailer hook, this is a Hayabusa trailer hook, and they actually, whenever you buy a pack, they come with these little beads, these little rubber beads. Let me see there.
There you go. Yeah, now we got you.
Yeah. So that little bead slides over, and that's what holds it.
Okay. I like that. It's a lot better than the tube and stuff that a lot of them.
Yes, sir.
Keep that. Tell me a little bit about that brand of hooks. What makes you like them so much?
They're just strong. I don't have a problem, bending them.
Mm-hmm.
I trust them 100%. The rage bug that I was throwing, like that's a 4-aught flipping hook in that rage bug.
Okay.
Everything has good keepers on them. They're sharp, and I just don't lose fish on them.
Okay, I like that. That's a good answer. I was going to talk spinnerbaits, and then the hook, popped into my mind since he asked that question. What's your setup for your spinnerbait? Another Big Bear rod?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what, how heavy? What you throw in your spinnerbait on? What kind of line and everything?
It's a 7-foot. My thing just said 5%. I don't know if it's charging or not.
This will be the last question of the night. Then we'll wrap it up with this one.
It's a 7-foot, medium heavy Big Bear.
Okay. All right. There you go. He goes, Captain Morgan says, I dig it and everything. So, all right. Since we don't want to lose you again, I want to make sure, with your phone and everything, we'll cut it off a little short now. But first of all, listen, dude, congratulations on winning that. And, I'm really glad that you did it so early, so that now you're a little bit pressure off from having, to prove to your wife that you can do it. You had 3 years, you did it in a couple months, so that's absolutely fantastic and all that. And
I had to prove it to myself too.
well,
It
yeah,
wasn't just proving it to her. I needed to
yeah,
prove it to myself.
that's true. But we know who the boss is, right? I mean, we're married. I've been married 30-something years. But, King of Bass, real quick, goes, do you use a trailer on a chatterbait?
Yes, I do on a chatterbait.
He does on a chatterbait. Okay.
Yep, I use a rage bug.
Rage bug. All right, good,
Yep.
good deal. So I tell you what. So first of all, I appreciate you jumping on with me
No
tonight and all
problem.
that. Again, it is always good to talk to somebody for the first time. I'd like to have you back on with like Nick in the game.
Yeah,
We'll
we
get
can make
all
that
you guys.
happen.
Yeah, get a bunch of you guys back on as we go. And of course, anytime somebody comes on, you're always part of the family from here on out. And then now we got somebody else to follow in those events and all that and everything. Got another number that I can text you like, dude, yeah, keep going, baby. I like it. So
Yeah, if anybody wants to get on and follow RM Fishing on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I do have a YouTube channel. I just ordered a Power Pole Vision. I'm actually fixing to start doing a lot of live streaming during the tournaments. So
okay. Good. You absolutely nailed my last question for the night. Where can guys follow you and all that? So again, RM Fishing on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and your YouTube channel, same thing.
I believe Instagram and TikTok is RM Fishing 88.
Oh, listen. All right. Real quick, he has to wait to Nick, his phone's on 5%. Ask old boy if he's ever fished a derby and not fell out of a boat. I know we talked about you falling out of one earlier today, but is this a habit that you got?
Oh no.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, Nick said he was going to jump on at some point and rag you a little bit like that. Listen, Nick, I really like this dude. So I told him, I said, we need to get you and him and all that. We'll let you guys get a few more tournaments, going down the line and then maybe jump on and have everybody. And real quick, Big Al has showed up. I am back for y'all and Ricky. Lonnie Anderson is his hot woman from the 80s. Do you know who Lonnie Anderson is? You're a young dude. Do you know Lonnie
No, I
Anderson?
don't.
I didn't think you would. Normally
I'll
we
look
got
her up when I get done.
well, back in the day, okay. Yeah, I'd give you a 10 on that. I always rank his women that he throws out there. Back in her prime, Big Al, that's a 10. And we're glad you stopped by. And he said, I'm not going live with that joker. Yeah, you are. Yeah, we're gonna make that happen. So listen, I tell you what, first, thank you for coming on and best of luck, with the rest of your season and all that. And as always, the NPFL keeps impressing us with the people that they've got. And Cranking Yankee goes, wow, and all that. So we really do. You're part of the family now. So we're definitely gonna keep up with you and go give the wife and them kids a hug and everything like that. And we'll catch up with you down the line, man. I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, buddy. We'll see you. And all you guys that have been watching that, hey, here's you another guy. Good guy to follow, good guy to root for, easy going. Old Midwest boy like that and all that. So one of these days we'll get him down here fishing on Lake Lanier and we'll have to teach him a thing or two about this clear water and all that. So anyway, you guys be really good. Hey, listen, if you got a chance, come out to Lake Lanier on Saturday, fish that fishing for Pawpaw or Fishes of Hope, come fish against us. But if you don't do that and you're on the water, it doesn't matter where you're watching, man, please be careful. Wear your PFDs, take all your safety precautions because I don't want to read about you on Facebook or in a newspaper. We want you guys to come back next week. So with that, we're out of here.